Hello fellow educators. Welcome back to our channel. Today we are diving into a fantastic teaching strategy that will keep your students engaged, boost their comprehension and make your lectures more dynamic. Say goodbye to passive learning and hello to the gapped lecture, which is a powerful technique to transform your lectures into interactive experiences. The gapped lecture is a student-centered approach where students receive partially completed notes or a handout with gaps or questions before or as the teacher is delivering the lecture. As the teacher talks, students fill in the blanks or respond to the prompts, thus actively listening, processing, and reinforcing the content. It is an effective way to keep students actively listening and processing the information presented in a lecture while also providing them with a tangible record of the key points covered. Now let's talk about how you can use this method in your own classes. First off, prepare your lecture notes by creating gaps or questions that target essential concepts or ideas. You can do this by leaving spaces in bullet points, sentences, or even entire paragraphs. Alternatively, you can ask rhetorical questions throughout your lecture slides. Once you've prepared your materials, distribute them to your students either as handouts or on the screen. If you want your students to work things out for themselves, give them the incomplete notes before the lecture. But if you prefer a more guided approach, you can present the lecture with the gaps. As you deliver your lecture, allow students time to fill in the gaps or answer the questions. This method works well with all ages and levels of education. For younger students or those with special needs, you may opt to provide sentence starters or word banks to help them complete the gaps. For advanced learners, you can increase the complexity of the gaps and even challenge them to infer or summarize information. Now here's a simple example. Let's say I am teaching a lesson on the human reproductive system. As I'm presenting the information on the slide, I notice that there is a blank space here and I have told the students that this part of the system is actually missing. So now I'll pause and give them some time to write it down. Okay, what do you think? What's the name of this structure? Anyone? Yes, Sarah, you have the correct answer. That's right. It's called the uterus. So I can now fill in the blank and continue with my presentation. To make the most of this teaching method, consider these tips. First, always begin with the big picture. Before diving into gaps, provide an overview of the topic or learning objectives. This helps students understand the context and importance of what they are learning. Next, start with simple gaps and gradually increase the complexity as the lecture progresses. This allows students to build their understanding and confidence. Also, make sure to leave enough time for students to complete the gaps. Avoid rushing them, but also don't spend too much time on one gap. Keep a good balance. And finally, review the answers together as a class. This allows students to learn from any mistakes and ensures everyone is on the same page. Be prepared to provide scaffolding or additional support for students who need it. For instance, you could provide sentence starters or a word bank for struggling learners. The beauty of the gapped lecture method lies in its simplicity and versatility. You can use it across various educational levels and subject areas. Whether you're teaching math, science, language arts, or history, the gapped lecture can make your lessons more interactive and effective. It's a great way to differentiate instruction and cater to various learning styles. So give it a try. The gapped lecture method is not only an effective teaching tool, but it also shows your students that you value their active participation in the learning process. By involving them and making learning more interactive, you're setting them up for success. And remember, as with any teaching method, practice makes perfect. The more you use the gapped lecture method, the better you'll become at it. So don't be afraid to experiment and adapt it to your own teaching style and your students' needs. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support means the world to us. Also, feel free to share your thoughts, questions, or any other teaching methods you'd like us to cover in future videos. Thank you for watching. Until next time, happy teaching!